Well, a recent decision by the Supreme Court allows Michigan's shoreline to remain accessible for beach walkers. And Tom Sinas joining us today to discuss your rights as a beachgoer and how to avoid trespassing on some of that personal property out there, Tom.
So, Derek, one of the most interesting things about the United States Supreme Court is sometimes what it doesn't decide.
Okay.
Okay. As you can imagine, the United States Supreme Court gets lots of requests to hear lots of cases. And this year, they got a request to hear a case out of Indiana.
All right.
And the case was called Gunderson versus the state of Indiana.
Okay.
And the reason that people were watching this case was because in that case, the landowner in the state of Indiana was challenging the state of Indiana's law about when the public can access certain portions of the beach in Lake Michigan.
Okay, very interesting.
Interesting, right? And we were watching it as Michiganders because in 2005, our state Supreme Court gave us a rule about who has access in the public to what part of the beach.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the law in Michigan? Well, 2005, the Michigan Supreme Court decided a case called Glass. And what the court held there is that citizens of the state have the right to walk within what's called the public trust section of the beach. What does that mean? Well, the court said that that area of the beach up to the high water mark, is for the public trust, meaning that no one can restrict another person from walking along the beach within that high water mark. And that's been the rule in the state for almost 14 years now.
So what we're saying is essentially, hey, my backyard looks into it, but they're not in my backyard. They can kind of, is that what we're talking about here, lakefront property?
Right. Imagine you're on lakefront property. You look out the backyard. You see over the dune grass. Then you see somebody walking down the beach. The private landowner in Michigan cannot restrict the beach walker from walking down the beach as long as they're walking within what's called the high water mark.
Gotcha.
Now you're probably wondering, well, what's the high water mark? Well, we don't really have a specific answer. We know that the water in the lakes, sometimes it's shallow, sometimes it's really deep, right? So the high water mark is sort of up in the air. But the interesting thing about the case, about the Supreme Court's decision not to hear the case out of Indiana, means that our current law will remain in place. Because the concern some people had was that if the U.S. Supreme Court heard the Indiana case, was that going to change federal constitutional law and give us a new rule about who could or couldn't walk on the beach and where?
Opening up a can of worms, essentially.
Yeah, it certainly could have been, and we already know what's in our can right now, right?
Yeah.
So we keep our can.
There you go.
And that means you can continue to walk along the beach. All right. Doesn't necessarily mean you can set up camp on someone's beach, right?
Come on out, we're grilling, have some fun with us. Yeah,
That's right. You can walk. That much I can say. And don't forget, getting to the beach, just because you have the right to walk on the beach doesn't mean you have the right to walk on private property to get there.
There you go. I'm just going over to that public land right there. Good stuff. In case this comes up, where do people track you down?
They can find us anywhere online at www.sinasdramis.com or shoot us an email at info@sinasdramis.com. Give us a call in West Michigan at 616-301-3333.
Thanks, Tom.
Happy beach walking.